Presidential conventions are major events in American politics. They are the culmination of months, sometimes years, of campaigning and political maneuvering. They are where the two main parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, officially choose their nominees for the highest offices in the land. Imagine a huge stadium filled with delegates from every state, each one carrying the hopes and aspirations of their constituents. These delegates are there to represent their states and formally nominate their party's pick for president and vice president. It's a process steeped in tradition and significance. Conventions are about more than just naming a candidate. They are a grand spectacle, a showcase of the party's unity and strength. They are a chance for the party to come together and show unity, to heal any wounds from the primary battles, and to present a united front to the nation. Speeches are given by prominent party members, and the party's goals for the future are laid out in detail. These speeches are carefully crafted to inspire and motivate both the delegates and the viewing public. It's a bit like a pep rally for the upcoming election, filled with energy, enthusiasm, and a sense of purpose. In the past, conventions were full of suspense. The nominee wasn't always known beforehand, making for a dramatic reveal that kept the nation on the edge of its seat. The nominee wasn't always known beforehand, making for a dramatic reveal. Delegates would cast their votes, and the outcome was often uncertain until the very last moment. Today, the nominee is often clear in advance. However, conventions still matter. They are a vital part of the democratic process, providing a platform for the party to rally its base and reach out to undecided voters. They give the candidates a major platform to reach voters. The speeches and presentations are designed to highlight the candidates' strengths and vision for the future. The conventions are televised nationally, allowing candidates to share their vision with millions of Americans. This media coverage is crucial for building momentum and gaining support. They're a key part of the election process, building excitement and setting the stage for the months of campaigning ahead. The energy and enthusiasm generated at the conventions can carry through to Election Day, making them an indispensable part of American political life. In the US, we often talk about a two-party system, Democrats and Republicans. These two parties dominate the political landscape, capturing the majority of media attention, funding, and voter support. But there are other parties and candidates too. These lesser-known entities strive to make their voices heard. Amidst the overwhelming presence of the two major parties, these are known as third-party or independent candidates. They often represent a wide range of ideologies and policy positions that differ significantly from the mainstream. While they rarely win, they can impact the election. Their presence can shift the dynamics of the race, drawing votes away from the major candidates and sometimes influencing the overall outcome. History shows us that third-party candidates often face an uphill battle. Despite their efforts, they struggle to gain the same level of recognition and support as their Democrat and Republican counterparts. They may be popular early on, but their support tends to fade as Election Day nears. This decline is often due to strategic voting, where voters choose the lesser of two evils to avoid wasting their vote. This was the case with candidates like Ross Perot and Ralph Nader. Both had significant early momentum, but ultimately fell short as voters returned to the safety of the two-party system. Why do third-party candidates struggle? The challenges are multifaceted, involving structural, financial, and cultural barriers. One reason is the way our electoral college system works. This system favors a two-party dominance, making it difficult for third-party candidates to secure the necessary electoral votes. It makes it hard for candidates outside the two main parties to win enough electoral votes to become president. The winner-takes-all approach in most states further complicates their path to victory. Limited media coverage and funding also pose significant challenges. Without the same level of exposure and financial backing, third-party candidates struggle to reach a broad audience. Despite these hurdles, third-party candidates play a vital role. They introduce new ideas and perspectives into the political discourse, often pushing major parties to address issues they might otherwise ignore. They bring up important issues that the major parties might not be addressing. This can lead to significant policy discussions and sometimes even changes in the platforms of the major parties. They give voters more choices and can influence the national conversation on key topics. By doing so, they ensure that a wider array of voices and concerns are represented in the political arena, enriching the democratic process. Even though you can't legally bet on US elections, there are still people making predictions. These predictions are made by a unique group of individuals who analyze various data points and trends to forecast the outcomes of political races. These are the political odds makers, and they use data and trends to guess who will win. They delve into polling data, historical voting patterns, and even social media sentiment to make their educated guesses. Think of it like predicting the Super Bowl, but with politics. Just as sports analysts break down team stats and player performance, political odds makers scrutinize every detail of a candidate's campaign. Right now, the early odds favor Donald Trump. His rallies draw large crowds and his name recognition remains high among voters. This means many believe he has a good chance of winning the Republican nomination and potentially the presidency. His strong base of supporters and his ability to dominate media coverage play a significant role in these predictions. Kamala Harris, as the incumbent vice president, is also seen as a strong contender on the Democratic side. Her experience and visibility in the current administration give her a solid platform to launch her campaign. However, these are just early predictions. The political landscape is ever-changing, and what seems likely now may not hold true in the coming months. The election is still many months away, and a lot can change. Campaign strategies will evolve, new candidates may emerge, and voter sentiments can shift dramatically. The economy, world events, and even scandals can shift the odds. A major economic downturn or an international crisis could significantly impact voter priorities and candidate standings. It's important to remember that these predictions are not guarantees, but they offer an interesting glimpse into the perceived strengths and weaknesses of the candidates. They provide a snapshot of the current political climate and help us understand the factors that could influence the final outcome. President Biden's decision not to run for re-election has shaken up the race. Without an incumbent president in the running, the Democratic nomination is up for grabs. This opens the door for Vice President Kamala Harris to step into the spotlight. Biden's public support for Harris is a major boost for her campaign. It indicates that the party establishment is rallying behind her. However, she may still face challenges from other Democrats who decide to throw their hat into the ring. Harris's candidacy is historic. She's the first woman of color to be a major party's likely nominee for president. Her performance in the upcoming election will be closely watched as she aims to break down barriers and inspire a new generation of voters. Section 5, The Comeback Kid Trump's Second Act. Donald Trump's announcement that he's running for president again has sent shockwaves through the political landscape. Despite facing legal challenges and losing the 2020 election, Trump remains a powerful force in the Republican Party. Trump's loyal base of supporters continues to stand by him. This strong support is reflected in the betting odds, which currently favor him to win the Republican nomination. However, it's not a guaranteed victory. Other Republicans may decide to challenge Trump for the nomination. The outcome of the Republican primaries will depend on several factors. These include the strength of other candidates, the impact of ongoing investigations into Trump's dealings, and the mood of the Republican voters as the election draws nearer. Section 6. A nation divided, Trump versus Harris. The possibility of a Trump-Harris rematch in 2024 has everyone talking. It would be a historic election on multiple levels. Trump would be the first former president in over a century to attempt a comeback. Harris would be the first woman of color to lead a major party's ticket. Such an election would highlight the deep divisions in our country. Trump and Harris represent very different visions for America. Their policies, ideologies, and approaches to governing are in stark contrast. The outcome of a Trump-Harris election would have huge consequences, both domestically and internationally. It would shape the direction of the country for years to come, impacting everything from healthcare and climate change to foreign policy and the economy. Section 7. Your voice matters. Understanding the process. In a democracy, every vote counts. But to make your vote count, you need to understand how the system works. The US election process can seem complex, but it's important to grasp the basics. Start by learning about the Electoral College. This system determines the winner of the presidential election, not just the popular vote. Each state gets a certain number of electoral votes based on its population. The candidate who wins the most electoral votes wins the presidency. You should also understand the role of primaries and caucuses. These are held months before the general election. This is how each party narrows down its field of candidates to choose their nominee for president. Section 8. Stay in the know. The 2024 election. The 2024 election is shaping up to be one for the history books. Staying informed is crucial. With so much information out there, it's important to rely on credible sources. Seek out news from trusted organizations known for their unbiased reporting. Avoid sources that spread misinformation or rely heavily on opinion over facts. Fact-checking websites can also help you separate truth from fiction. The 2024 election is about more than just who becomes president. It's about the future of our country. By staying informed, you can make an informed decision and exercise your right to vote. Remember, democracy works best when we all participate.